And there you have it, the closing bell from the New York Stock Exchange.
Shares of Intel and United Health sent the markets into positive territory. The Dow Jones finished up more than 340 points. The S&P and NASDAQ also finished in the green. Both were up more than 1%.
Joining us now to talk more about this is Tamar Essner. Tamar is the principal and energy analyst at Vectis Energy Partners, an advisory group focusing on the energy sector and the intersection with policy, economics, markets, international relations, and climate. Wow, that was a mouthful, but Tamar, we're really pleased to have you with us. So, of course, the national average price of gas is now $4.23 per gallon. Connecticut, Maryland, and Georgia are now halting their gas tax to provide some relief. This is a temporary measure, as we understand it. How will the markets be affected by this, Tamar, and do you think other states will follow suit?
Thanks for having me, and thank you for the introduction. I think it will provide a little bit of relief for consumers at the pump. Obviously, the gasoline taxes vary by state. On average, you're talking about 30 cents per gallon. And if you think about an average car requiring 16 gallons to fill, and obviously there's huge variability in that number depending on what kind of car you drive. But you're talking about an average of $5 of savings per refill. So it's not needle moving necessarily, but every little bit helps, especially in this market where we're seeing rising prices, not just in energy, but in food and really across the board. So I do expect other states will follow suit. In general, state budgets have been beneficiaries of rising income levels. So they actually have budgets that are in good positions where they can afford to suspend their gasoline taxes. The big question is whether the federal government has that ability as well. That would be an extra boon to consumers. The federal gasoline tax is 18 cents a gallon, so that would be incrementally helpful. But obviously, the federal budget is in much poorer condition, so they may not be able to do that.
Tamar, some tax policy analysts are critical of the gas tax holiday, claiming the suspension won't do much to help consumers, and oil companies could increase prices to keep some of the tax cut for themselves. Do you think that is likely, and how can motorists combat that issue?
Well, as I said, I don't think that the savings is necessarily huge, but we are at a point where we are nearing a crisis. And so I think that we have to sort of throw the kitchen sink at this to do whatever we can, because gasoline taxes are particularly a regressive tax. So they really hurt the poor more than anybody else. And the poor generally, have to drive to work. So they have a degree of stickiness with their gasoline demand. With regard to the second question, I don't really think that oil companies benefit from this. In fact, most of the gasoline retailers in the United States are independently owned and operated. They license some of the big oil company names for a branding perspective, but their sales are not affiliated with the big oil companies. And so because there are so many independent gasoline retailers, there's really a lot of competition. And so the ability to price gouge really doesn't work because it's a very competitive market. And so if you see that there's cheaper gasoline across the street, you're going to go there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that the oil companies really benefit from it. It's a pretty transparent market. Unfortunately, there's that bit of a lag between what you pay at the pump and what you see on your screen. But there's no evidence that there is any gouging going on just by virtue of how the system works.
Tamar, but thinking that consumers really aren't going to save all that much, even though these taxes will be suspended for a while. The savings aren't considered significant, even though they are sort of symbolic at this point. We do know that state and federal gas taxes are used to maintain roads, bridges, and highways. So on a practical level, will suspending this tax result in a big shortfall for states?
Well, everything always has unintended consequences. So, yeah, absolutely. At some point, the American consumer is going to have to pay for this. The idea right now is that we're really at a critical point where we don't want to tip the economy over into recession. And, if you look historically, all recessions in the United States have been preceded by really high energy prices. So it would really just be a temporary Band-Aid and hopefully not need to last long enough such that there's shortfalls in terms of repairs and maintenance on roads and infrastructure.
All right. Well, Tamar Essner, principal at Vectis Energy Partners, thank you so much. We appreciate your financial insight.